Today we are going to take a look at three-dimensional shapes. You will notice they're hanging up on the top, and you can take a look at them while you're working today if you need them to be able to find what we're looking for. So today we are looking for, I can identify the parts of a 3D figure and I can find the differences in prisms and pyramids. So why do we learn this? Architects use shapes to design buildings. To identify these figures, you need to understand how they differ. A three-dimensional figure is a figure that does not lie on one flat plane. It has three dimensions: length, width, and height. You guys are lucky enough to be seeing this more and more with 3D TVs, 3D movies, things like that. So we're going to start with a 3D shape. So write the words 3D shape to your left, and I want you to try drawing the picture that I have up here. If you struggle drawing it, it's basically just a square. Put another square kind of up and behind it, and then you connect that corner to that corner, that corner to that corner, that one to that one. If you want them dotted like I do, then just take your eraser and start erasing those back lines. Pause it if you need to give the students time to draw, but let's get started. Now, all the corners, all of these corners have the same name that they would have with angles. And they're all called your vertices, which is plural, or a vertex, which is singular, and that is your corner. It's where the two edges of the shape meet. So let's get those. These then that I'm drawing in green would be called your edge. And two edges meet at your corners, which are your vertex, or plural, which would be your vertices. We're going to get our faces. Our faces are like over here. This is a face. It's a side. So a face is a side. Technically, the base can also be a side, but we are going to separate, and we are going to say our face is our sides, and our base, or bases, will be, it's kind of the top and the bottom, but you'll see the top and the bottom don't always have to sit on the top and the bottom, but we'll start with the top and the bottom. If you need a professional drawing of one, here it is. The flat surface of a three-dimensional figure are called faces. Now, they call everything a face. We are going to separate our faces out from our bases, and you'll find out why in a minute. An edge is a segment where two faces meet, and a vertex is a point where two or more edges meet. So it's the exact same drawing you just had. Wanted you now to make three columns. And we are going to label the three columns. The categories, this would be to your left of your line. To your right of your line, then you'll have prisms, pyramids, other, and then three, so they can fit under three columns. Let's start with the prism. Do your best and try to draw it. All right. On a prism, what makes a prism cool is that, first of all, it has two bases that are polygon. Here's what I'm talking about in the fact that it doesn't have to sit on its base. But do you notice how it has two shapes that match each other, that mirror each other? Those two shapes are considered its bases. All the other shapes in a prism all the other sides or faces are rectangles. So you will notice that all these other shapes that hold those two bases together, there's a rectangle, there's a rectangle, okay? All of them other sides are rectangle. Only your bases are some other polygon. What makes that different than a pyramid? Well, let's first try to draw a pyramid. You don't have to write the name, just try to draw it. A pyramid is different because it only has one base or one polygon for a base. And in this case, it's right here. There's its one base. What do you notice about all the other sides of this pyramid? All the other faces are triangles. So the main difference between a prism and a pyramid is two things. You have two bases on a prism. With this one, you only have one. On a prism, you have rectangles for sides, and on a pyramid, you have triangles for sides. There's another category that fits in here because what do you do with shapes that don't have polygons in them? So let's go under other, no polygon for a base. Such as a sphere. If you struggle, just draw yourself a circle, put a line through it, and then you dot it up there. That's one that doesn't have, because a circle is not a polygon. Another one would be a cone. And the last one would be a cylinder. Because they have circles in them, they do not have a polygon at all for a base. So then they're just in another category. They're not a prism or a pyramid. So let's take a look at a shape. You don't have to draw the shape, but let's start counting. So I want you to write right now in your notebook a V for vertices, an E for edges, an F for faces, and a B for base shape. So let's count the vertices. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So B equals 5. Edges. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, don't forget the one in the back, 8. 8 edges. Now remember, we're going to say our faces are just our sides. So in this case, I'm going to have this little side over here, there's 1, the side in the back, which is 2, the side over here, which is 3, and the one in the front, which is 4. And lastly, the shape of that base, even though I know it looks like a parallelogram, it's just the way it's sitting, the base is actually a rectangle. So you try the next one now. This would be a great place to pause, and then we'll go through the answer. The vertices on here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 vertices. The edges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 edges. Here's the hard one, finding those faces. Well, there's one back here, there's one on the side, 2, there's one over here, which is 3, there's one on this side, which is 4, and then there's the front one, which is 5. The base is made up of a pentagon. The base shape comes in major handy to name this. So, let's go back. If I'm going to name this now, I name this by its base. This would be a pentagon. Now we put AL, pentagonal, and then we have to decide between a prism and a pyramid. In this case, it's a prism. So this is a pentagonal prism. The one before then is a rectangle. So we say rectangular. And now again, is it a prism or a pyramid? In this case, it's a pyramid. So it's a rectangular pyramid. In your notebook right now, see if you can name these first 3. Actually, let's do all 6. You can stop it here and then go through them. Your homework is a worksheet. It looks just like this one, just a different color. And again, you are naming the bases and the shape, the edges, the faces, and the base shape. On the back, you're naming the names of each of the shapes.